roadies. How are you, my friends? Are you staying warm? Are you quilting? Are you relaxing? It's December. It's a hard month to relax, but each year I get better and better at controlling the chaos. And some of my friends might think I am not because of the type of schedule I keep. But I have to say, it feels pretty darn relaxed. I mean, here it is. What's today? Um, Today is like, it's a Wednesday, I know that. See, that means I'm really relaxed. I don't even know the date. But what I do know is I have a whole day to myself, which is a gift. It's a gift. I mean, when you can cut out a whole day to yourself, it's a gift. I mean, look at me. I'm still in my relaxing pants, my fuzzy pants, and I've got my weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend because I have quilt retreat coming up. Yes. And this quilt retreat is, it's a real blessing because what I have found, and I don't know if this is the same in your life, but as I've been aging, I have found that my connections to my friends gets thinner and thinner because our schedules are now in a different mode. In my quilt group, the Fabric Stalkers, all but two of us are retired, which means that we don't have to stay here snowbound. We can pick up and go on vacation more often. And most of us have grandchildren who don't live near us, and so we are traveling a lot for that grandbaby love. And so our schedule is more complicated, and the opportunities to get together are far and few than they used to be when we all had a work schedule and our children were all going to the school in the same town. And it's kind of odd to think about, but it was simpler to get together. It was rare where all of us couldn't show up to a retreat. So I was really bummed when it snowed as much as it did, because I just couldn't even fathom how we have been snowbound on a retreat. And and because of the aging, we can't shovel like we used to. I mean, we can't clear the land. We can't stitch in the wild like we used to. So I just was so disappointed at the thought of not having it. But the weather's changed, and people stepped up to the plate, and we're going to make it happen, which is, it's a gift. So even if you can only cut out time for yourself a whole day, do it. It's rejuvenating. What that did for me, and the reason I am now in a different section of the beehive, and I'll take you around the beehive and show you different angles and chaos that's going on here. But because I embraced that we're going to make it to retreat, I started recondoing my beehive to figure out what I wanted to work on, what I wanted to take. It's 3 days, 3 nights, and you know, you just want to you want to take advantage of the time, but you don't want to make it so stressful that you have to get stuff done, you know. And so I started looking through my patterns and books, and I suddenly had this desire to downsize it. Yeah. And so I literally went through and decreased my quilt library behind me by half. I took half of it to our local habitat because they were books that I knew I wasn't going to make anything out of anymore. You know, it's kind of like as you evolve, your tastes change. And so I said, why am I keeping this for the next generation to take care of? So I decided I wanted to, and I have to tell you, I'm kind of babbling a little bit here, but I went to a stitch day at a girlfriend's house, Linda, and I've showed you her sewing room before, but when I walked in, I always take the opportunity to go visit her sewing room because she's one of those quilters that gets the project done. You know, it's not, and she does exquisite work. So I walked into her sewing room, and her sewing room is packed. And I mean packed in terms of that everything she loves, and she loves all things vintage and antique. So she has like probably 20 tiny sewing machines, you know, displayed. So it's that kind of thing. I walked into her sewing room, and it was so open, bright, and light. And she had bought a new antique cabinet, and I couldn't figure out how she could have ever fit it in there, but she rearranged her room. And it was amazing. It was amazing, the difference. And so I came back and I thought, maybe I can just rearrange things and move things around. It'll give me that same feel, maybe on a lower level. So when I knew I was going on retreat, I decided to start organizing because I had to look for what I wanted to take. And I could not believe it. I could not believe what I had. There's no way in 10 lifetimes I could have made everything, every pattern, every book I had. But I did know that there's still this grand desire. But I decided to, you know, make it more realistic. Maybe only 3 lifetimes worth of stuff. Maybe that was better. So I started purging. So I was able to, this is my binders of, these are my binders of patterns that are not in their original sleeves or in books. I used to subscribe back in the 90s to every quilt magazine out there. And so one time when I got in a purging mode, I started ripping things out, and then I always love free. So anytime like Moda Bake Shop or some website or during December some designer gave away a free pattern you could download and print, that's what these are filled with. They're filled with patterns that friends have shared, that I've downloaded from the internet, or I've ripped out of magazines. Yeah. But I kind of started getting them organized. Like here's a whole binder of Debbie Caffrey mysteries. Back in the 90s, the Fabric Stalkers, we took every Debbie Caffrey mystery given at BJ's in Bend. And so all those patterns are in here. There's too much memory attached to those patterns. I can't get rid of those. But, oh, in here, look at, here's the Fabric Stalkers. This is the original Fabric Stalkers. Yeah. What a great group of women. We've been quilting since the early 90s. Yeah, there I am, right there in the back, right there with my head peeking out. Yeah, there's a lot of goodness there, and I love the opportunity to have known them. So this little jar here is called goose jelly, and back a long time ago, I I was told that if you save the snippets off of each half square triangle and stuff that you of quilts you made, and you put them in a jar, they're called goose jelly. I think someone was pulling my leg, but it's pretty. So this might be the same thing as orts on cross stitch people. Yeah, it might be the same thing, but I don't save them anymore because my jar's basically full. And then up here are the little baskets of wool scraps. You know, when I do my wool fusible, I save the little leftovers for other projects that's not big enough to fold up and put in my stash closet, so I save them in the basket. And we are lucky in our neighborhood. We don't, our neck of the woods here, we don't have any moths per se. Those moths that eat wool, I've never seen one ever in here. So because I'm talking so much, I need a drink. G made iced tea, and you know he likes his iced tea full strength, and so I take half iced tea, half water, and a little bit of cranberry juice for flavoring. And so yeah, so there's lots of fun things around here. But what I found when I you know, before I go another step, I'm going to talk about the giveaway. Over 400 of you wanted to be organized. And this is a perfect segue into it. And a perfect segue into the next giveaway. So over 400 of you wanted to get organized with a calendar. But unfortunately, only one of you could have it. And that would be Tracy Thompson. Yay! Tracy, you need to send me an email or message me on Facebook or Instagram message with your mailing address, because I need to send that out lickety split, or you're not going to get it until next year, the way my schedule is. So please, I will give you only a week to get your address to me. So if anybody knows her, tell her she won and she needs to give me her address. In a week's time, I will draw another name, just because I can't have stuff laying around here. You know how it goes. But I have another giveaway, and this one is awesome. Are you ready? Oh yeah. If you don't have this, you're gonna want it. Christmas at Buttermilk Basin, and this was donated by Stacy West from Buttermilk Basin. And it is filled with adorable, adorable goodness, and all the patterns to make all of these things that are in here. And it is, I'm making that one. It's a book that just fills everybody's well, because it is a combination of actual quilts, wool work, embroidery. You know, there's something for everybody. And look she signed it for you. Yeah, so there she is. There's our Stacy. So if you want to be entered in to possibly win this awesome book, Christmas at Buttermilk Basin. Just leave in the comments that you love Buttermilk Basin. Okay? And then I will, on the next video, announce that winner. Okay, back to life in the beehive. So with the purging and the cleaning and the moving around and the dusting, I slowly have been able to figure out what I want my retreat to look like. And that's what you have to think about when you go on retreat. You just don't want to run out of projects to work on. That's number one. That happened to me once. I was not nice to be around. Yeah, in fact, I think that might go down in fabric stalker lore. Yeah, the year Anna didn't bring enough projects with no quilt store around. Yeah, so now I kind of overdo it, but I just really wanted this to be, because it had been so long since I had been able to get to a quilt retreat with the stalkers, that I really wanted it to be a time where I could just be with them, just be with them. So I'm mostly taking handwork so that I'm not feverishly sewing on the machine. I do know that I am going to do a little bit of sewing. Let me see if I can find where I put that stuff. Oh, here it is. So this is an old pattern. I have two things that I want to sew. One is tree napkins. They're napkins that are shaped, that you fold them up and they fold up like a tree. Yeah, I want to make a set of those for a friend of mine. And G and I love the bowl, the padded quilted bowl holders that you put in the microwave so you don't have to pick up the hot dish. And so I have that pattern still from the last time I made them. And see, there it is. It's all ready to go. So I'm going to be making a few of those. And they make great gifts too. Although I'm not going to be sewing on this at retreat, when I was cleaning, I found these. What are these, do you ask? They're license plates. They're license plates that I not only collected in the travels, but that friends and quilt roadies have sent me. And so it was just amazing the amount of license plates I have. And I thought, I have to figure out what to sew with these license plates. So I'm going to start my very first project. If I can get it together for this retreat, I will do it. But I will start it anyway. But surprising and not so surprising to me, I found this. It's a pattern I bought. Isn't that cute? It's a birdhouse with license plates attached to it. And so on this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 9 license plates. So I'm going to pick out the first 9, and I am going to make this wall hanging here. And I think I kind of like the one that doesn't have the frame around it. Yeah, I kind of like that one. But what I thought I would do, of course, because I can't make anything quite easy, is that although because of the license plates, I am going to use fabric as the cotton fabric as the fusible pieces for the birdhouse and the stump, the tree trunk where they're sitting on. I am going to Sue Spargo those butterflies. It's sheer genius. I'm gonna do it. So the butterflies on here are going to be out of wool. Sometimes I just amaze myself. So if you guys are interested in this pattern, I can tell you it's called Butterfly House, Braggin Pole #1, and it's by Patch Abilities Inc. See, you can stop the video and take a good look at that. And in the description, I will put the link to them, and hopefully they'll still have this pattern if you also were a hoarder of license plates. Yeah. I'm excited about that. I might work on that this afternoon. I also found I'm going to prep my Sue Spargo sand dollar piece and start getting it ready. Start getting it ready because I have that retreat in February, and so I need to before we actually hit the road, which we have no clue of when that's going to be. G's been working on the van. Yesterday he got the spare tire finally situated on the back. We had the tires rotated out to snow tire type heavy duty tires, and we're just going to play it by ear, and after the 20th of December we're just going to watch the weather. And usually in Central Oregon we get a January thaw where it seems like it's spring. But it's hard to know about the weather these days. All over the country, the weather has been kind of insane, and it's been a while since we had this much snow on Thanksgiving. So, you know, the one thing about it is we don't stress about a whole lot of stuff. Yeah. So yesterday we had those projects. I cleared out the back of the house of snow where our propane tank is and our heat pump, and we got that all situated, and G worked on the van. So, okay, I hope this is not boring to you because it seems like all I'm doing is babbling. So as I was digging out, I also found The Good Life, my gifts from a friend of these Good Life projects. And they are adorable. And so I will put that link in the bottom because these are great travel projects. They're by Annette Williams because they are, I'm just going to pull it out for you. They are already pre-printed on that pre-quilted fabric. I mean, oh, there's a staple here. Okay, there we go. So, in the little kit, she includes the needle and the thread. So, here's the project. So, it's an embroidery project, and it's already pre-printed on there. Can you see that beehive? Is that not adorable? This is a table runner, and flowers at the other end. And she includes the thread for the project. So, I have to let you see the other side while I show you the thread because it's just so freaking cute. Is that not cute? And I know a lot of you have beehives. You have sewing rooms just like mine called the Beehive. You need this. So this is a great travel project because it is already pre-printed. And it's embroidery. So there's like, you know, pre-printed embroidery. How better can it be than that? And the thread's included. And you don't need an embroidery hoop. And because of the fabric that she prints this on, that kind of quilted fabric, it you can cross over. You don't have to be a neat stitcher. Yeah, so I'm going to be taking that, and I think this is going to be a nice little break project, so I think I will also start this one on retreat. So this one's going to retreat with me. But this one's going on the road. And again, this one has quilting with it, so that fabric for the quilt border is not included, but the floss for the embroidery part is included. And you can see through there, it's already pre-printed on that same fabric. That's so great. She is so clever. So I was happy to see that. And then I found that I had already used my miso light table and traced 2 of Gail Pan's embroideries, and I backed them with SF101, the Pellon product. So they're ready for stitching. And here's the other one. But I think I already have one started, and I need to get that going too. Ay. This one, and you know that I'm doing the, hope you're getting your stuff together for the sew along on Kathy Schmidt's Eastmoreland. But I don't know if you knew this, but Kathy Schmidt's sister is Bonnie Sullivan, and she does these projects. And I have 2 of these. I have this one, the bee bowl filler, and this one, which is called the snow bowl filler. And what's involved with these is that there's already pre-printed fabric that you add the wool to. So the little snowmen are already pre-printed on this fabric, and then you add your wool to that. So I am going to prep one of these. Oh, and this is, see, just so you know, there's the patterns for each one. So I'm going to prep the snow and take that to retreat with me. Ooh, gosh, I left a receipt in there. My children can never come across these receipts after I'm dead and gone. They'll wonder, what the heck? So I'm going to prep those. I mean, you know, that's the one thing about organizing and cleaning, is that you get to find the stuff that you have and that you love. So, well, I'm going to wrap this up with just a little walk around of some of the stuff I did, so you can see other corners of the beehive, because normally you mostly get to see me at the sewing machine or the cutting table or the ironing board. But let me get up. I gotta get my body up here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I really organized this area. I moved my plant, my giant grape ivy, over to the top of my spool cabinet, closer to the window this winter. And there's that English antique sewing machine. Oh, I gotta get Godzilla's Christmas sweater out, I just realized. My mother brought this back from Europe. There isn't a sun in it. It's the reflection of the light, but isn't that interesting? I did a little Christmas decorating. Yeah, and there's some pictures of the family. My dad, he was quite the sailor. And there I am when I was 17 on the sailboat. So I organized this. My color crayons are in this turning carousel that I got at a office supply for my Crabapple Hill projects. I have these little containers for 5x7 patterns. Whew. Holding on. Oh, sorry about that. This little bucket here is for the little tinier patterns. G got me this little bear one year. He has to sit in there and take care of my patterns. So you saw my books, my Little Red Singer and my wool. And I have some reading books and some music over here. And my rocking chair now is piled with fleece blankets that I've made. And there's a old bed spring where I hang a lot of photographs that are just have the family around me. And then the Sweet 16 area. This side of the beehive looks out on the front yard. And then I have things just sitting along the rail. And then this rack was made by a gal I knew years ago. Her husband built them at one point. And I have on there things that need to be quilted. Yeah, it's piled. And the pile of things that need to be quilted down below. And then this cabinet here is for my applique. And so it also is my thread storage. And this is my memory spot. You know, my dad when he was a little boy. My dad and mom when they were engaged. Yeah. These are my dad's shoes when he was a baby. And my grandmother's perfume bottle. Stuff like that. I don't know. It means a lot to me. My mother's old sewing scissors. But inside here is not only my thread storage, but my applique stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I have things to do there. And then someone was asking if this was cross-stitch, and it is not. It's a bird brain design embroidery, red work embroidery. And then I sewed a piece of fabric around it. And this is all just my little collection of little things, you know. Just little things that mean something to me. My dad's dog tags, you know. And then this little desk is a children's desk, and that has my, it's my hexie station. So all things hexie in there. See how organized I am? I don't get much done, but I sure am organized. And then this is another bird brain design. It was one of my first red works, and I wanted to do it because it had all of the different stitches on it. And I love how pretty it is. I gotta do some more red work. So here I'm walking around. And then you've seen this area, the design wall. There's my last fleece blanket I'm working on. My ironing board that's on top of a dresser. And my sewing machine. And then where you come up from downstairs, my parents' stove and, you know, different things that I love. This this picture here. Oh, let me see if I can get the light off of it. There we go. My oldest son drew that for me, and it's incredible because he drew it. I don't quite understand it, but he drew it in the negative. So he had a black piece of paper. I don't know. All I know is his artwork is amazing. And I just have things that make me happy all around here. So that's it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I know I am going to have a wonderful weekend. And we shall see who the winner of the Buttermilk Basin book is. You take care. Bye.
Thanks for watching.
And be sure to like and subscribe on Quilt Roadies.